watching the Bulldog Brewhouse Podcast.
Hey folks, it's Steve Grover back. It's 2024. It's a new year, and hopefully everyone had a good, happy holidays. Christmas was just past us and the New Year's, and now we're back here at the Bulldog Brewhouse Podcast for another season of it. And it's January 31st, the last day of January. Thank God we got to the coldest month of the year. Hopefully that minus 30, minus 40 weather's gone for the rest of the year in Calgary. And I have a new guest this afternoon, and you're the first guest of 2024, so I hope you bring us some good luck, okay? So your name is Bruce?
My name is Bruce.
Okay, and what's Bruce's last name? So everyone knows.
This Bruce's last name is Weese.
Okay, it's not Bruce Willis.
It is not, unfortunately.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. Okay, and Bruce, I know who you are, but a lot of my viewers won't know maybe who you are. So tell everybody, like, where are you from originally, and exactly what do you do?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll try and keep it short.
Keep it short and sweet, like me, okay?
Born in Melville, Saskatchewan.
Okay.
Raised in Ottawa, Ontario, the nation's capital. Went to high school, obviously, and then on to Algonquin College. Took electronics in Ottawa. And as soon as I got out of college, I moved to Calgary. I knew when I was 13 years old that Calgary was the place I wanted to live. So
why is that? Because I had no choice. I was born in Calgary. I was born in the Holy Cross.
Yeah.
And, I have 3 younger sisters. We're all born in Calgary. My daughter was born in Calgary. So what was the choice of why you wanted to move from Ottawa to Calgary?
When I was 12 or 13, the family traveled out here. We came out here for a vacation. We went through Edmonton. Edmonton was okay. The West was cool. We got to Calgary, and I fell in love with it. And Steve, I believe there are places in this world where we feel absolutely at home and comfortable. And Calgary, even at that age, Calgary was that place for me. I just knew that I felt good here. I felt comfortable. The other place that's like that for me is Negril, Jamaica. Mm-hmm. I just feel right at home in Negril. It just seems right. So as soon as I got my post-secondary education, I packed her all up and headed for Calgary.
Okay. And did you pack up your motorcycle or just pack up an RV?
I had a motorcycle, a Skidoo, an old Chevy truck, and I was fresh out of college, and like I say, just headed west, went to work in the electronics business and the computer game, and have never looked back.
So when was that? What year was that when you moved out to Cowtown?
1982.
Okay, so just 7 years before the Flames finally won the cup, right? Okay,
it was a good time.
Yeah,
it was a good time to get
for '86 when they lost in the cup to the Canadians.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we're obviously we're here to talk motorcycles too. That's one of the big topics of the podcast with Winston and Roosevelt, my 2 bulldogs who are the bosses of the law firm and the podcast. So. How old were you when you started riding motorcycles?
Came home with my first one when I was 14.
Okay, what was that?
And, that was an Allstate 60. So Allstate built motorcycles back in the 60s.
So Allstate Insurance Company?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was a modified scooter. The guy I bought it from, he had modified the pegs, took the running boards off of it, all that stuff, and it was basically a dirt bike with small wheels. But for a kid my age, it was a thrill. And I remember coming home, and my dad said, "What is that?" Mm-hmm. And I said, "That's my new motorcycle." And he said, "How much did you pay for that thing?" And I said, $10.
Okay.
And he said, "Good job. You can keep that."
Okay.
So I spent the winter repainting it and getting it ready, and found a problem with the engine, got it working, and that's what I started with. And from there was a Yamaha and a Honda 300 Dream before I turned 16, and then there was a Kawasaki Z1. And at the time, that was a lot of fun. That was kind of that next step to hyper bikes. The CB750 was out. That was the super bike, and when Kawasaki came out with that 900, boy, that was the bike to have at the time.
Was the 900 in? Are you talking the one in Top Gun with Tom Cruise?
Yeah. When did they bring that out? 72, 73 was the first one.
That's before my time.
So that was the predecessor to the one that is in Top Gun.
Oh, okay. All right. And then how old were you when you got your Class 6? Or in Ontario, do they have a different class for motorcycle?
A motorcycle endorsement at the time. So I was 17, I guess.
Okay. And then you've been riding bikes ever since?
Well, a little bit of time off. Family, career, all these things happen. I don't think it's uncommon for us to take a little time off. But as soon as family was grown and everything was done and money was stable and all that kind of stuff, then we jumped back in.
So what's your flavor of motorcycle now? Make and model?
Flavor of motorcycle. So I'm a Harley guy.
Okay.
I love Harley Davidsons, and I'm more of an art guy. I see motorcycles as art. The two that we were just looking at here. Beautiful machines, same as I look at an aluminum V8 engine block.
Yeah.
And that thing is just art to me.
Okay.
And, the way the physics and the way the whole thing works and why it works and what it does, that's exciting for me.
Yeah. Okay.
I will tell you, and it's not a big deal. I was diagnosed last year with essential tremor, which, if you don't know, if you see people who shake a little bit, handshake, maybe a bit of head shake, whatever, quite often that's essential tremor. It has nothing to do with Parkinson's. It's not a stepping stone or anything. So at my age, I have essential tremor. And right now it doesn't pose any kind of problem.
Yeah.
But I will say that if it ever got to the point where it affected my riding, I can give up riding.
Yeah.
I don't think I could ever give up building.
Okay.
Because building that's my art. That's what I do.
All right. So obviously there's this magazine called Revolution Motorcycle Magazine. I'll show that to everyone out there. So how are you involved with this fabulous magazine here?
So Revolution's a great Canadian publication. It's been around for a long time. Revolution is out of Quebec, and it is published in French and English. Okay. Which is kind of unique. The Canadian government does a good job of supporting publications in Canada. Okay. And especially something like this, where it captures the culture. And I think there's great value in that. So Revolution changed hands here a couple of years ago. Patrick Lambie, who you've had on the show,
Oh yeah, he's a great guy.
Contributor for Revolution, and he really enjoys doing the photography on the custom bikes and everything. Okay. So Patrick and I had kind of connected, and he wound up doing a photo shoot and an article on my Sportster for Revolution. Yeah. And I met the owner of the magazine, and he asked me if I'd like to sell some advertising and do some promotion for the magazine in the West. And I said, sure, I would take that on. So we were in the process of trying to build more Western content and subscribers and everything. And unfortunately, the owner and editor had a tough year in 23. Maybe I shouldn't go into personal details, but anyway, he had a couple personal issues that got in the way. He became depressed, and apparently at this point is having a hard time functioning, and has kind of let the magazine fall by the wayside. Okay. You and I have talked a little bit. I don't understand what the benefit is to letting your business go down the tubes just because a couple of bad things happen to you. But that is where it's at. So we've missed a couple issues of Revolution. We're sure hoping to see it again soon. I know there are people who would be willing to help them out and I don't know, maybe even take it over, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, it looks like a cool magazine, and obviously this is from last summer 2023, issue 65, and whose fancy bike is that in there?
That would be my fancy bike.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of engine did you put in there?
So that's a 96 Sportster.
Okay.
The reason that Patrick did an article on it is there's quite a story behind that. My gal, Karen, my wife now, she wasn't when she bought me that. But 10, 11 years ago, she said to me, make sure you bring the truck home when you come home. And I said, why do I need the truck? And she said, we need to go pick up your new motorcycle.
Okay.
And we knew of the bike. It was a guy up in Airdrie had put it together in his garage. And we went up and we bought the bike. And I said to her, this is awesome, but why? And she said, you work way too hard. You need to blow off some steam.
Okay. Well, that's a good woman to be with.
Yeah, she is awesome. She is so supportive of my podcast, of all the crazy things I'm doing, of building, and Steve even spending money and stuff. She is totally supportive. So I'm very lucky to have her.
All right. So the engine, let's talk a little about the engine. So you're finishing up on the engine a little bit?
Right. So the engine's a 1275 Hammer Performance.
Okay.
Mikuni carb, lots of upgrades, everything that Hammer said that engine needs, I did. And again, I just love building engines, Steve. It's really cool.
So it took you 3 years plus to finish this bike?
It did.
Okay. Then why are there, one's called Mr. Mojo Rising, and then there's one that's pure green. So what's the same bike?
So the green one has Mr. Mojo Rising on it as well.
Okay.
The story behind Mr. Mojo Rising is that's Jim Morrison and the Doors.
Yeah.
Jim Morrison, the drummer in the band, asked him to, they were recording LA Woman, and he said, I want to slow the song right down, and then I want to pick the tempo back up like a climax and take it over the top. And Morrison said, okay, I think I can do that.
Yeah.
And they went into the recording studio, and Jim starts singing Mr. Mojo Rising and picking up the beat.
Yeah.
And afterwards, the drummer said to him, he said, that's brilliant. He said, where did you come up with that?
Yeah.
And Morrison wrote out on a napkin, Mr. Mojo Rising, and Jim Morrison, and then drew lines between all the letters.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it's, what do they call that? What is that? It's not is it an acronym? Anyway, it's a reorganization of the letters of his name. Okay. And that's where he came up with it. I always thought that was very cool, very creative. So that's what I picked for a name for the bike. Why are there two paint jobs?
Yeah.
So when I was building a bike for our daughter-in-law, I got a quote on a paint job, and it was excessive. And I said to Karen, I said, I haven't painted in a long time, but I could buy a spray gun and supplies and everything and not spend 25% of what I've been quoted on this paint job. And she said, well, I think you should paint it then. So I bought a couple guns, bought the supplies, got back in the booth, and it had been 42 years since I'd picked up a spray gun.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with it again.
Okay.
So now all I want to do is paint.
Yeah.
Well, I want to build too, but I like painting. So in this case, I looked at the bike and I thought, I've never seen anybody have two sets of tins, two paint jobs for the same bike.
Okay.
So I can go to a show on Saturday with the top bike, go home Saturday night, swap out the tins, takes Karen and I about a half an hour, and show up Sunday with a completely
So
different looking bike.
So all you're doing is changing the gas tanks.
Gas tank fender, and
Yeah.
the green one has the sissy bar.
Okay. So you got 2 bikes for the price of one.
And being thrifty, that worked out well for me, yes.
Okay. And you still have the bike now?
I have several bikes. I've
Okay.
got,
But regardless of this one, you still have it now, eh?
absolutely. That's a legacy piece.
Yeah.
It'll get left to somebody. I don't know who yet,
Yeah.
but it'll get left to somebody.
Okay.
And we have a 2015 Electric Glide
Mm-hmm.
that we tour on.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 4 XS 650s I'm working on.
Yeah.
I've got a soft tail frame with a Springer front end
Yeah.
that is going to become something. So, and I've got a Kawasaki 2-stroke triple
Okay.
that I just picked up just because I want one of those dirty, obnoxious
Bikes.
2-stroke motorcycles.
And do you still ride this one, or is it just more of a show?
I ride the heck out of that.
How many
bike.
kilometers do you have on that engine?
On that engine?
Yeah.
Probably 1,000 kilometers
Okay.
last summer.
Yeah.
Not a lot yet, but
Yeah.
it's like I told you about Calgary. You just feel comfortable
Mhm.
in a place.
Yeah.
I have never felt so comfortable on a motorcycle as I do on that.
Mm-hmm.
I can lean that thing, scrape the pegs,
Yeah.
have fun.
Yeah.
It's just,
Okay. Looks like a cool bike. And they did a nice article write-up on it. And who did the photos of it?
Patrick.
Oh, Patrick.
Lambie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he didn't want to try and steal your bike from you when you were not
No.
looking?
No,
No?
we did that at Burwood Distillery and Vacay Brewery,
Where is that located?
which is the old Marteloup. What's the old military base there?
Oh, Garrison Woods.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in
that area. Yeah, Marteloup area.
Yep.
Right off 33rd Street, Southwest. And then you were also hired by them to get advertising in here from Western Canada, eh?
By Revolution.
Yeah, by Revolution. Okay. All right. And then sort of the unfortunately the magazine is sort of like on a little hole right now until the owner,
I'm
sort
I'm
of wants.
hoping we're just paused.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like a cool bike magazine. So it's more about a cruiser kind of Harley kind of magazine in here. A lot of the
It's a lot of Harleys.
Yeah.
It is
The
that
cruiser.
custom motorcycle
Okay.
culture kind of magazine.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't see any Ducatis in here, eh?
There wouldn't be a lot of Ducatis or Aprilias or
Yeah.
anything like that. No.
They got an Indian here.
There is an
The
Indian.
new Sport Chief. That's a cool bike. What do you think of the Sport Chief, the new one?
It's okay.
You don't like it? I think it's.
I
think it's kind of cool. The little Sportster kind of cruiser bike
Steve, I like anything
on two
on
wheels.
2 wheels where you twist a grip.
So let me ask you then, if you like everything on 2 wheels, so are you familiar with Harley's bikes?
Am I familiar?
Yeah, with all the makes and models of them. Like, they have the cruiser one, and they have the
Yeah.
Grand Touring, and then they have the
absolutely.
adventure one.
Yeah.
So they also have the trikes.
Yes.
So they have that new RG3 trike that came out. They put the Road Glide fairing on a trike.
Yeah.
Have you seen that bike?
I have not seen it.
So what do you think of trike, if you believe in?
What do I think of trikes?
Yeah.
I think Harley's is kind of backwards.
Yeah.
The geometry, the physics just doesn't work out that well.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you can't ride 2 wheels, better
Yeah.
to be out there on 3 than in a cage, right?
Okay.
So-
have you ever owned a trike? at all?
I have never owned a trike.
Okay. Have you ever owned a motorcycle with a sidecar, like an Earl or something like
I
that?
have not, but I'm really interested.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that I would do for sure.
Okay. All right. And so you're a big fan of Harley Davidson, eh?
I am.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
what's your favorite model of more Harley out there right now? Of all of them, I know they just changed up the models for 2024. They call it the new.
Yeah, no.
Revolution.
There's nothing new that really sparks my interest.
Okay.
I would love to have a panhead.
Oh, really?
I'd love to get a panhead for
Okay.
that Springer I'm building.
Yeah. Okay. And then
We'll see. I'm an old school guy.
Okay. So you haven't seen. So they had the bike show at Edmonton this past weekend.
Yeah.
And just out of like just advantage, we have the bike show starting this Friday, 2 days from now. Okay.
Yes.
You're gonna head down to the bike show in Calgary.
Steve, I get to work the whole thing in the Honda Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So are you going to go check out the new Harleys for 2024?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So my advice is go check out they have this Road Glide CVO ST.
I've seen pictures.
Yeah, it's sort of like a sporty kind of Road Glide. I think that's pretty cool. And they have this cool ad where they have a black one and a white one. And, I'm thinking maybe buying one. I don't think I need another bike, but, it's pretty enticing. It's got a 121 engine in it.
Steve, you always need another bike.
Okay. So it's
Our friend Patrick is down in Las Vegas riding them right now.
Okay. Oh, the Harley CVO.
The new Harleys. Yeah.
Okay, the CVO ST?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So hopefully that's a good bike. So then you also got into that you also going to be working at the Honda motorcycle portion at the bike show. How are you involved with Honda Canada?
I'm a district sales manager for Honda Canada.
So what exactly does that mean other than a fancy label?
So I have 21 dealers I'm responsible for.
Okay.
So I, help with sales strategies, promotions, programs, inventory, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. And then, so do you just work Western Canada?
Saskatchewan and Eastern Alberta.
Okay.
Yes.
So Eastern Alberta.
So Lloydminster,
Medicine
Cold
Hat.
Lake, Medicine Hat.
Work in Calgary at all or no?
No,
you don't touch Barnes, Blackfoot, Motorsports. Okay. And obviously, Honda, to my knowledge, is the number one manufacturer in the world. Is that correct for motorcycles?
Definitely in Canada.
Yeah.
In the world,
yeah.
I don't know that for sure.
Okay.
But we have been number one in Canada 7 years in a row.
Okay. And then how long you been with Honda Motorcycle Canada for?
9 years.
9 years. Okay. So your job is to go to the dealers, help them with strategies to sell bikes and market them and stuff like that? Okay. Yeah. Is that a full-time job?
Bikes, ATVs, side-by-sides, and power equipment.
Okay. And that pretty much keeps you busy full-time?
That keeps me very busy full-time.
Okay. And you enjoy your job?
I love it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's good.
So let's talk about Honda bikes, because I was at the bike show in Edmonton, and I bought a mid-size adventure bike. I got on it. It didn't really feel right. And then I went over to the Honda section, and is it Riverside?
Yes.
Yeah, in Edmonton, they had a big booth there.
Great people.
And then I sat on the African Twin 1100 Sport one.
Yeah.
Not the big touring one, but this is the red one with the shorter shield on it. And it felt really good. Like really, really good. So at the point where I just want to cancel the order for the other bike and get that one. But the African Twin, that was reintroduced in like 2016, wasn't it?
To Canada.
Yeah. And how's the sales been on the African Twin?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. It's a great bike. It's got the right features.
Yeah.
Price point is
20.
excellent.
Yeah. This one's about 19 out the door. That makes sense. A sport one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The red one. And then the bigger one, the touring bikes, was what, 22 out the door or so?
Probably. And then it depends if you go DCT or manual transmission. So but just a great bike, the handling, the ride height, it has a lot of things going for it. Even a short guy like me, typically I don't like taller bikes. They present an issue. That Africa Twin, boy, if you can get your toe on the ground, it's easy to balance that bike. It's really good.
Well, the guys at Riverside, they said, I was okay sitting on it. I got my left foot down. All I care about is my left foot down because I want to keep my right foot on the brake no matter what, because I don't want some idiot rear-ending me and then I just go, splash everywhere. I got my, left foot down perfectly with runners on, not my boots on. So it's obvious, it felt good. The other bike felt too tall for me. So that's my only concern. It is a very popular adventure bike. It's the T7 Yamaha.
Right.
Yeah, that's a really popular bike.
Yeah.
But, sometimes I always believe that if you buy a bike, a motorcycle, it should fit you like a glove. Because at the end of the day, I mean, if that bike doesn't fit you, you're going to wipe out or cause an accident. And it's not worth it, just to look cool. And all of a sudden you can't get your feet down or that bike's too heavy for you. You're going down.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously when you go down, you're going to probably really injure yourself because it's asphalt in your body going down. Yeah. There's nothing to protect you like in a car. But the Africa Twin has been a good selling, consistent bike since it's been reintroduced.
Yeah, it's very popular. Typical Honda. The quality's just solid.
It's reliable, eh?
Yeah.
All the Japanese bikes are solid, like Yamaha, Honda, Suzuki, Kawasaki. But this African Twin, the 1100, the sport one, and I don't want the DCT. I still want the manual.
Right.
But even the clutch felt like it was really free flowing. Even when I sat on it,
really nicely set up.
Yeah.
Have you ridden a DCT yet?
No, one of my good friends.
You need to do that.
Yeah, one of my good friends, Trevor Deck. You know him from Too Cool.
Yeah,
he's got the African Twin, and he went with the DCT version, so he likes it.
Right.
But the DCT, I don't think it's offered on the smaller sport bike, but it's on the touring bike, isn't it? Yeah.
It should be on the smaller one as well.
Yeah. Okay.
But DCT, dual clutch transmission, that technology for Honda it's way ahead of the industry.
So people that are watching and maybe new to the podcast, can you tell them what DCT really is? Like, what does it mean?
Sure.
What's the purpose of having it opposed to a manual clutch?
Sure. So a dual clutch transmission, very popular in sports cars now. Dual clutch transmissions are even being used in some trucks, the heavier Fords.
Yeah, we're talking about a motorcycle now.
Stuff like that. But a dual clutch is a solid, proven technology.
Yeah.
So in the case of a motorcycle, like the Goldwing or like the Africa Twin, what you have is two typical wet motorcycle clutches and electronics that control the clutches.
Yeah.
The one clutch will have all the odd numbered gears on it. The other one has all even numbered gears. So all you're doing when you shift is just turning one clutch off and the other one on. You're just switching clutches. Makes it really quick, really simple. Gears are already meshed and lined up. The computer knows if you're coming off the throttle or getting on the throttle, takes care of all of that.
Yeah.
So you're just going between clutches, really smooth. One of the big features for racers, the desert guys, the Baja guys and stuff, is the fatigue factor.
What about Dakar?
Now,
do they use DCT on Dakar at all or no? Or is it still manual?
Yeah.
Use DCT on Dakar?
I believe they do.
Okay.
The fatigue factor. So figure out now you don't have to work a clutch and you don't have to shift. Just think about how many times you don't have to move your leg, your foot, all that kind of stuff, especially when you're standing up. The bike does it for you, basically. If you really want to shift it yourself, you can still do that with the toggles on the actually on the hand grips.
Yeah.
So like paddle shifters in a sports car, you can still shift it yourself if you want.
But doesn't that take the fun away from riding a motorcycle? Because I like the manual work and going from first gear to sixth gear, and all of a sudden there's a red light, you got to shift boom 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 down to second, hopefully wipe out or get in neutral. I hear that question. Yeah. And I won't say it's an argument because you're not arguing. No, it's just a comment.
It's just a question.
Yeah.
Does it take the fun out of it?
Yeah.
I don't think it does.
Yeah.
I've ridden lots of DCTs. Now what did it used to be? We had a 750. I think it's now called that's the NX 500. NC 750 with the dual clutch transmission. Man, oh man, throw that thing through corners. Never worry about gear. Just concentrate on your line and what you're doing.
Yeah.
Ton of fun to ride. So does it take the fun out of it? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It takes more skill to work a clutch and shift and to know what gear to be in and everything. Yeah. But the DCT is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Goldwing, boy, oh boy, you pull out the pass on that DCT Goldwing, twist the grip. That thing will downshift twice before you even know it's happening. And woof, you're past somebody, you tuck back in and bing, bing, you're back up into the top gear and cruising along. So really impressive technology, and I really enjoy it.
But I think it's very interesting. People coming to motorcycling, like if you were running dirt bikes or just coming into it late, there's always that, that you got to figure out that friction zone, and to release the clutch so you can put it in gear.
Mm-hmm.
There's that challenge, you know what I'm saying?
There is.
I always think that people probably should learn how to drive a car with a standard, no matter what. And I think it's probably important for people to learn how to ride a motorcycle with a clutch, manually.
I would agree completely.
Yeah.
But once you know how to ride a manual transmission bike, a typical bike, that DCT can be a lot of fun. It's a whole new world.
So even after 10 years of riding a DCT, your body will still have that muscle memory to ride a manual clutch?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah? You don't have to go back to too cool motorcycle school for a refreshing.
Your brain is better than that. Yeah.
Okay. And then, so what was the purpose of Honda introducing the DCT? Did they want to revolutionize the motorcycle industry or something like that?
I think that's a large part of it.
Yeah.
If you look at Honda's history, when did Honda first try and make an automatic transmission?
Yeah.
That was in a CM400 back in the 70s.
Yeah.
And it was a terrible transmission. It was typical. I think it actually had a small torque converter in it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the right setup for a motorcycle, but Honda's been trying to come up with the right automatic transmission for a bike for a long time.
Okay.
The DCT is absolutely the right technology to do that.
So I don't know much about Honda. Like I know the African Twin, I know there's a Fireblade SP, but as a company, do they have a big research and development program at Honda? Motorcycling? Huge. Okay, probably bigger than, because Ducati really didn't have much until Audi bought them out, or Volkswagen. Then now they have a big R&D department.
Right.
I'm not sure if Harley really does have a big R&D department. I mean, I'm convinced they take the same Milwaukee 8, they take it out and they put it in a road glide, and they move it to the street glide, and then to a lowrider. You know what I'm saying? The same engine. But they have,
Honda's doing the same thing with that parallel twin 1100.
Yeah.
It's the same, it's basically the same engine that's in the Rebel 1100 Cruiser.
Yeah. But they just changed it for an adventure bike.
Changed the tuning.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But Honda, like obviously everyone knows Honda cars. Like the Civic, the Accord, just reliable. CR-V, just reliable, So they're obviously a very big auto manufacturer. They're obviously a very big. Are they the same company, or are they split off as two different companies between the auto department and the motorcycle department?
It is a separate department. It is the same company.
Okay. And but they have a lot of money dedicated to R&D.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Probably bigger than any.
I mean, Honda builds jets. Honda builds lawnmowers, snowblowers. I mean, we're
generators,
right
everything.
from water pumps to
generators.
To jets.
Yeah. Okay. And then, but so my question to you is, since this DCT's been around for quite a few years now with Honda, how come it hasn't clicked on with the other motorcycle manufacturers?
No idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
No idea at all.
I have no idea why Harley Davidson hasn't picked up on it.
Or Ducati or BMW, because BMW is on the forefront too. I mean, they got a lot of cash too. I know BMW motorcycle is a different department because it's based out of Berlin than the auto department, which is based out of Munich. But they have a lot of cash, BMW.
So I think you probably need to look at demographic and the enthusiasts that would ride a Ducati or a BMW versus. If you look at Harley Davidson, let's be honest, it's an older demographic, Steve.
Yeah. Well, the prices are getting insane now. Like that CVO ST that I just mentioned, that's out the door. That's $54,700. That's a lot of cash.
Can you believe they can do it that cheap?
Well, I don't know. I don't.
You get what you pay for, right? Houses are going up. Everything's
probably
going up.
About 80% of that price is just putting that Harley label on the bike, though.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Harley Davidson is a marketing company that just happens to build motorcycles.
Well, I had Kobe, the sales manager from Calgary Harley, here last year. And, we talked about marketing. And if you want to learn how to market, you watch Coca-Cola, you watch McDonald's, and you watch Harley.
Yeah.
and you'll learn how to market the shit out of it and make billions of dollars. When they're a very good marketing company. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they got my cash several times.
Yeah.
And I've got a lot of T-shirts in my basement, Harley T-shirts I don't wear. I got Harley jackets, you know, that I still don't wear.
Still, I would say that with Harley's demographic, the kind of bikes they sell, the older riders, the fact that trikes are so popular for them and everything, I'm really surprised that they haven't bought into a DCT sort of technology.
Well, I don't know, like this, what was that electric bike they brought out a couple of years
ago? The
ago?
Live Wire.
Oh my, I don't know. I know a lot of people rode it and they thought it was amazing, but for 48 grand or whatever it was, I don't think they sold a lot of those.
No, there's still lots at dealers.
Yeah.
Yes, the technology is amazing, very cool.
Yeah.
Steve, let's be honest. The new federal plan to electrify cars, that whole thing is aimed at passenger cars and light trucks. It does not mention motorcycles.
Yeah.
And they are not addressing marine engines either. Right now, if you look at it, BRP, their marine division is growing. I think Yamaha and Suzuki are doing the same thing. I'm pretty sure that Honda is growing their marine division. The reason that's happening is you can still burn gas in those areas. Motorcycles are the same thing. Yeah. That new federal package doesn't touch us at all.
So we're good.
We don't
gas.
need electric bikes. Yeah. So, I would say for the next decade at least, we're totally off the radar. Nobody cares.
Oh yeah, and now you mentioned ads. Like over Christmas, I saw a Yamaha ad, and like my dad was a Yamaha freak. He loved Yamahas. That was the bike he went with. Okay. Right. But I remember watching this ad. I was probably watching like NFL, and there was a Yamaha ad, but 60% of it was about their motorboats, not about motorcycles or anything, and generators. So they've they have this big demographic of, right. Yamaha is a huge company too. They just don't sell motorcycles.
So Honda just came out with the BF 350. So a 350 outboard. A V8 engine. That's the first production V8 Honda's ever built. And it's for an outboard engine. Yeah. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm sure there was a lot of R&D went into that. Like I say, that's the only place Honda uses a V8.
So these dealers that you service in Saskatchewan, eastern part of Alberta, like Lloydminster, Medicine Hat, so obviously we have a very short biking season in Canada, unlike Arizona.
Yes.
So when the lights go off in October, November, do they change to selling generators and snowblowers and stuff like that? Those motorcycles?
Absolutely.
Okay, so they flip.
That'll carry them through. Don't forget too, though, there's ATV and side-by-side.
Yeah. And that's still a big market, even wintertime.
Especially on the prairies. We've got feed lots and farmers, all kinds of stuff going on, and surveyors. And let's be honest, Honda has a reputation for that reliable machine. So do we have the 1,000cc big tired whizzy ATV? No, we don't. The other guys do that.
Yeah.
But, a TRX 520 Rubicon is just as solid as it gets. If you want to get there and get back, if you want to go get the cows and get home, that machine's going to get you there.
So the bike season, they do well selling motorcycles or ATVs. In the wintertime, they sell other Honda products, and that's how they get through the winter season.
Yes.
Okay. And they service the bikes in the wintertime, obviously, too.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And some will be multi-line dealers. They'll have a line of sleds.
Yeah.
Snowmobile.
Oh yeah, skidoos are big and all that stuff.
Now, this is not a good year to be a snowmobile dealer.
Why is that?
We haven't had winter. We had
minus 40 like 2 weeks ago. I don't know where you're living.
I'll let it was
I don't know.
I'll let you in on a secret. We always say, if you don't sell snowblowers and snowmobiles by January 1st, you're keeping them for next season.
Really?
Yeah.
So February, March, and April, people don't buy that stuff? And why is that?
It drops way off.
But you can probably
it's too late in the season. People figure, what'll we get? One more snow? I can shovel it.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like a lot of guys, I know a lot of the dealers and the sales guys in Calgary that sell motorcycles, they're telling me, like, they know I buy bikes. And, I'll do a donation to OBB or, but they're saying, like, Steve, if you want to buy a bike, wait till October, November, you're going to get a way better deal than buying it in July. Yes. And so so there isn't a market of guys coming in February, March buying stuff.
Not for snowmobiles and snowblowers.
Okay.
Yeah, doesn't happen.
So either they want to use them right away or they don't buy them for a super deal, eh?
And they want to get a season out of them.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Nobody wants to buy something, take it home, and put it in the shed for 7 months.
Yeah, but we still live in Canada, and we've had snow here in Calgary and like the Victoria Day long weekend, and
we have.
You go sledding up in Revelstoke up there. There's still snow up in BC.
There is.
Yeah, near up.
But I think riders look at how many times will I get to use it.
Yeah, I
can buy a brand new one. The new model year in the fall. So it really does affect the numbers.
Or they could just park it in their garage and crack open a beer and look at it after work and just say.
And there's lots of that.
It's like those guys that buy
the power sports industry is very seasonal.
Yeah. Okay. So like obviously now, one of the lasting bikes of Honda has always been the Goldwing.
Yes.
And so they've gone from that big bulky touring bike now to more of a sleek looking. It's almost like a Star Wars, something like a stormtrooper would drive in like Return of the Jedi. So why did they like go from that bulky kind of bigger look? Because that was a classic Goldwing. When you think about Goldwings, to more of this slick kind of black kind of looking touring bike.
Right. So in, what year? 2018-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Honda was able to get a little over 60 pounds off of the Goldwing, which is huge.
But that's a big bike. It's like those 80 and 90 Goldwings. Those are big, and they got a lot of chrome on them. And you got the guy, you got the wife on there. You probably have 2 kids in the back and the dog in the back. It's such a big bike.
But times change.
Yeah.
Right. People want different things,
but there's
the Goldwing has been a home run.
The new one.
We literally sell every one that we can get our hands on.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And what are those going out? Fully loaded, a Goldwing?
I hate to quote prices, but they're in
30?
I think they're closer to 40.
40 grand?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's a good bike?
Absolutely.
It has a DCT?
DCT or manual.
Or manual. Yeah. Okay. What would you recommend in a Goldwing? Would you get a DCT or a manual?
Again, it depends on what you want to do, where you want to ride. With hill start assist and DCT and idle shut off, and it depends on what kind of guy you are.
Yeah.
That hill start assist, if you're gonna ride in San Francisco, that might be a great thing.
Yeah.
Do you need it in Saskatchewan?
No,
probably not.
Yeah.
So it depends what you like to do. Do you like to shift gears? Do you like a clutch? If you do, great.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay.
But if you want that DCT, simplify things a little bit, there is nothing wrong with that trans.
So what's the Goldwing weighing at right now? Like dry weight before gas goes into it?
I'd have to look it up, 7 something.
Okay, so it's lighter than a Harley. Some of those road glides and street glide specials are up to 800-900 pounds. Yeah, so it's a good handling bike, the new Goldwing.
Very nice.
You've ridden one?
Yes, I have.
No problems handling it?
No.
Okay.
Took one from Edmonton out to Jasper down to Banff into Calgary.
Didn't stall or anything? Or
no, beautiful bike.
Okay.
Beautiful bike.
And then you mentioned earlier the Rebel. Has that been a good seller for Honda, the new cruiser bikes?
The 500 has been really, really good.
Yeah.
The 300 Rebel has been... has lived up to expectations.
What about the 1100?
The 1100 has only been out for a couple of years, but it's doing very well too.
Mm-hmm. And they have that big bat wing fairing, like sort of like a street glide you can add to it.
The new touring one has the fairing on it, and it is, I don't know if I should. I don't know if I want anybody from Honda to hear me say this, but it is very reminiscent of the Batwing fairing on a Harley. I find it.
Yeah, well, it looks like a street glide.
It's very
like
similar.
a baby street glide.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I
That's
ask?
popular. It works.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question about the Rebel?
Sure.
Why are their colors so blah? Just black. Come on, like get some zing into it, like a purple or a yellow or something like that.
Or that burnt orange.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
something
yeah.
like
Or
that.
what? Harley's got the whiskey fire now out on the street glide.
Yep.
How come they have such boring colors for the Rebel?
I don't have an answer to that.
Yeah.
But I completely agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
And as I say, I work for Honda. I love the product and everything. I don't know why we're so conservative on the colors.
Well, I mean, if anyone quits from Gucci design, I guess they could always hire someone from Italy to come to Japan and put a little spark in their eye.
Maybe.
But that Rebel's a good selling bike no matter what.
Very good. And they're solid.
Yeah, yeah.
Just super dependable. Work really well. Yeah.
So you've been with Honda for quite a long time.
9 years.
Yeah, and now you're in sales. So do you keep an eye out on your competition out there, like Kawasaki or Yamaha, what they're doing?
Well, sure.
Yeah.
To a point. We're more focused on our own product.
Yeah, yeah.
But we do keep an eye on what the competition's doing.
And do you keep a tabs on what maybe Kawasaki's doing with their bikes or sales, marketing, stuff like that, or Yamaha, or no?
Steve, we watch more where they are in terms of sales. And I'll be honest, as long as we're out front and by a sizable margin, then what the other guys are doing isn't all that relevant.
So for all the Japanese bikes, is Honda number one in sales?
In Canada, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So why is that? Why is Honda ahead of like Suzuki? I mean, Suzuki sort of had this downfall a little bit. I know they brought back the Hayabusa, and a lot of people just said, like, you really didn't change it from 99. And I looked at buying one, and I don't know if you've seen the articles about the new Hayabusa. It looks cool, but, a lot of my buddies are like, are you actually going to buy that torpedo? And so I had a deposit at Mars Blackfoot on the nice red 25th anniversary, and I was getting a lot of hazing from my buddies. So I told Ron at Mars, forget about it.
Right.
And then they have the Gixxer. That's just been a solid bike no matter what.
Absolutely.
And Cowie's got the funky green colors. I mean, they've got some. They brought out that H2R, turbo supercharged bike.
Right.
But why is Honda just being ahead of the sales?
So I think there's lots of great Japanese technology out there.
Oh yeah.
Japanese bikes have been good for a long time. I mean, there I am working on 4 XS 650s from the 70s and one early 80s one.
Yeah.
They were just rock solid. They just work. So, the Japanese manufacturers have had that going. What's the difference? Why is Honda number one 7 years in a row?
Yeah.
Well, I've been there 9 years. I'd like to think that maybe district sales managers make a difference. Who knows?
So, have they bought your like house in Miami Beach right next to Shaquille O'Neal yet, or no? No.
No, I'm kidding. But the Honda product, it's reliable. It's got a great reputation.
Yeah.
Maybe a little conservative on colors, but the styling has been good.
Yeah.
We've brought enough new stuff out to keep people interested.
But they got to add some color. They got to get Tom Ford in there for the Rebels. Like, can they hire Tom Ford just to do some funky colors for you guys?
You would think. But I will say that our engineers are a pretty conservative bunch.
Or you could always hire Versace. They're always pretty flashy with their designs.
It would be nice to have something.
Yeah. Okay. And the one bike that everyone's always crazy about is obviously the Fireblade SP. That was reintroduced just recently again, 3 or 4 years ago, the Fireblade.
Years ago.
And they had that 40th anniversary all-white one. I don't know if you remember that one. That was like 2 years ago or something like that.
Was that?
That was
Did we have that one in Canada?
Yeah, because I was actually one at, Jack Carter Power Sports in the South.
Oh, did they have?
They had one in a crate.
Oh, okay.
And the owner wanted it, and I was trying to get it out of their hands, and they never called me about it. But it was a pure white 40th anniversary celebrating the Fireblade 40th anniversary. I think it was all numbered. It looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
But obviously, are you watching MotoGP at all, the racing?
Not a MotoGP fan.
So do you know who Marc Marquez is?
I know.
Okay,
Sure.
well, obviously he rides for Honda.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
have you ever met him at all?
No.
Why not?
No.
I thought you're up
Again,
into sales with Honda. Come on.
I will tell you that Honda's a very conservative company.
Yeah.
We don't do big sales conventions. We don't go to races. That is just not what Honda does. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I came from the tool industry, and in the tool business, man, Snap-on, Mac Tools, they take you to races. They have big sales conventions. Totally different culture.
Well, maybe it's that
Honda
Japanese
is-
culture. Just keep your head down and make us money. And we're not
think-
going to party
I think
anymore.
It is.
Yeah. And all the executives in Tokyo and LA have all the fun, right?
I will say that the salary and the benefits package is certainly good enough that I can live without the sales conventions and whatever. But it is a different culture for sure.
So regarding the Fireblade SP, I mean, that's their high octane, leader bike that Marc Marquez races around. Is he still with Honda, or did he move somewhere else now? Or
I think he's still with us.
Yeah, okay.
But,
they don't release a lot of those, do they?
No.
Full SP. Why is that?
Well, so I don't know how many are released for the world market.
Yeah.
For the Canadian market, no, they're very limited.
And why is that?
Again, world market, where are you going to sell those bikes? Where, how much? I mean, we probably sell more motorcycles in the Philippines in a week.
Oh, yeah.
Than we sell in Canada in a year.
Well, that's just the way the people operate down there. It's just motorcycle. Like, I've been to Colombia a couple times for motorcycle tours, and you know what? You're riding a nice BMW adventure bike through Cali, and all of a sudden there's 15 different like scooters right beside you, and there's no. It's kind of freaky because there's no separation, and all these bikes come together waiting for the red light to turn green. It's kind of scary, and then you just all go. Yeah. And same in India. India's a huge motorcycle because it's cheap.
India's huge.
It's just a cheap way to get transportation.
Right.
So, like, what is...
And the American market is strong, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, Americans, like, they'll max out their credit card to buy anything now. They're all in debt. What is it? Yeah. What's the country's debt now? Like $300 trillion now or something?
Does it matter anymore, Steve?
Spend now and worry about it tomorrow.
Let the kids worry.
We can't pay the bills, we'll go bankrupt and we'll be fine in 7 years and do it all over again. But so for Honda, what is the number one volume country for sales in the world? Do you know that?
I don't know that. It would be somebody like Philippines.
What about India? Do they sell a lot of bikes in India?
Could be India.
Yeah.
I think we're trying to have a bigger footprint there.
Yeah. Because I know KTM's got a big footprint there now.
Yeah.
And they actually manufacturing bikes in India now. That's why they can keep their costs down.
Yes.
But Honda...
India is big for manufacturing.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like the most populous country in the world right now. It passed China last year. I don't know if you knew that.
No.
Yeah. And it's a democracy and it's a capitalist economy.
Yeah.
So Honda doesn't have a big presence in India?
I'm not sure that we do any manufacturing there.
What about sales?
And sales-wise, like I say, I think we're trying to grow our footprint.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's been real strong for us.
But Canada's a good market for you guys?
Canada's a good market.
Yeah.
You have to remember the size of the country and the population, and a 6-month riding season, it's only going to be so good.
Yeah, but some guys say size matters. Canada's the second biggest country in the world next to Russia.
It is.
But we only have a population of 40 million. You probably sell more bikes in California in 1 month than probably the whole country.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, the weather-wise, the money-wise down there, and the population.
And the same is true with ATVs and side-by-sides.
Yeah.
It's not that Honda doesn't care about Canada. Yeah. They certainly do.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to remember who we are in the big scheme of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we're still a G8 country. We're in the forefront of the world all the time, just beside America and UK. but we just don't have the population growth to support, hey?
Right.
Yeah. And so America is a way better market for Honda.
Well, and I think anywhere that they have a longer riding season.
Yeah. Okay.
BC's a good get out to the coast.
Yeah.
Sales out there are a lot stronger than they are
Mm-hmm.
in Saskatchewan.
So if we're looking at Canada as a whole, what's the strongest sales market province for Honda in Canada?
I would say it would be BC or Quebec.
Quebec, really? Not Ontario?
Ontario is there, but Quebec's very strong.
Okay, why is Quebec? Because they got a smaller
idea.
population than Ontario.
I don't speak French, and I haven't had the opportunity to work in Quebec, so I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what the strength there is, but
Yeah.
Quebec does
Very well.
with motorcycles.
Okay. Anything new coming out for Honda in the next year or two? Any new technology or
Well,
the bike will drive itself and you don't have to worry about it?
now I have to tell you that I haven't even seen them myself yet,
Yeah.
but if you go to the motorcycle show this weekend, you will see a couple new Hondas.
Okay, I didn't see any new Hondas in Edmonton, so they have new bikes in
There'll
Calgary.
be a couple there that haven't been released yet.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
And no revealing that right now?
So come on by and see me, and I'll
You can show them. Okay. Now, is Honda coming as a manufacturer of the Calgary?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
Honda's going to have a presence because they didn't have a presence in Edmonton.
Yes, they did.
Well, they had Riverside there. Oh, yeah, they did have a Honda. Yeah, that's when I was looking at the African.
We are one of the few manufacturers. Well, I shouldn't say it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a lot of manufacturers who have not gone back to the motorcycle show.
Yeah.
Their dealers have. The
Mhm.
manufacturer themselves did not.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be safe to say that all of the manufacturers have pulled back
Mm-hmm.
on what we do at the show.
Yeah.
I know that Harley has scaled back. A lot more dependence on the local dealers to help out and work the show.
Yeah, but when I was in
big secret.
when I was up in Edmonton, the reason probably it didn't dawn on me that Honda had a presence there is because Riverside has such a big booth there.
Yes.
And they pretty much sell Honda, correct?
Riverside's a great dealer.
Yeah. And where are they, St. Albert?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's where Jerome McGinley was born. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, in St. Albert, near Edmonton. And then the other big dealer there was Harley. And that was busy. That was a busy floor. Like there's so many people going up and down there. And Triumph had a booth there, but they had a lot of bikes there, but there wasn't a lot of people walking around. I mean, they have some interesting bikes they brought out now. They've got that Scrambler 400cc, and that's manufactured in India.
Yeah, I saw pictures of that.
And they have that Daytona 660 little street bike now.
Right.
It's pretty cool. It's got 95 horsepower. I think that's fast enough. But the Harley booth was pretty busy. No matter what happens, I think Harley always gets that forte, and a lot of people want to check out their bikes, and they sell the whole lifestyle of the wild hogs,
the lifestyle,
the babes, the beer, or the dudes and the beer, and Sturgis.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that corporate leaned pretty hard on the local dealers.
Well,
to support
probably, probably to pay for half of it. Yeah.
Or like I say, to work it, or there was some kind of a deal there. I don't know the details.
Well, they had reps from Barnes there. They had reps, the Barnes Edmonton South location.
Right.
I talked to one gentleman from Gasoline Alley, and they even had a lady that was up there from Calgary Harley too.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Trying to sell their, just keep all together, sort of.
Yeah.
So, but talking about the demographics, but at the same time, I mean, you got younger guys coming up, and that Harley appeal still. Like the Breakout's not a bad bike. I don't know if you've ever seen that Harley Breakout.
Oh yeah.
And they got rid of the Fat Bob this year for some reason. I don't know why. That was one of the inverted forks, and they had that cyborg look.
Yeah.
Got rid of that bike.
I never liked that look.
Really? I had a couple.
Didn't resonate with me.
Yeah, I had a couple of them. I had a red one and an orange one. Yeah. And then the one consistent one's always a Street Bob. For price wise, I mean, you can club that out and make it look pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But I mean, the big thing now in the Harley world, especially with the younger guys, is the FXR Dyna crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, young guys, wheelies, drifting, the whole bit. That bike is super popular.
You talking about the Lowrider ST one, the new one?
Well, the old FXR.
Yeah, that's always been hot.
Too. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they're just taking that whole stunting world by storm. Yeah.
Okay. And obviously, dirt biking is huge for motorcycle sales in Honda. Eh?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
recreational
bread and
stuff.
butter sales program for Honda? Like make a lot of cash on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you can churn those out pretty quick, can't you?
You can produce a lot of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then whenever I go to the bike show, especially here in Calgary, I didn't see it in Edmonton, but they always have that, what's it called? The little tykes kind of program, Honda Red Wings or something like that?
No, for Honda, it's called Junior Red Rider.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And that's a great program. The guy who does it here in Alberta for us, Jason Schrag, really good guy. He's great with kids. I can't believe how good he is with kids. And he travels around the province and runs that program, and it's great.
So you try to get those kids early in the bikes, right?
Absolutely.
Sort of like what Disney does to me in McDonald's. I mean, no matter what, I'll still grab a quarter pounder and cheese. You know what I'm saying?
Put down the game controller and go get on your motorcycle, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's a good thing.
Yeah, and that's a good program for young kids to get involved in riding those little dirt bikes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah.
You into, I know they have this new Rocky Mountain racetrack or something near Carstairs. Have you been out there at all?
I have not.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty nice. But I was, there's a lot of turns there. There's not like Area 27. Are you familiar with that track out in Soyuz?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of straight lines in there, but the one here, I went out there in July. They had like an opening and, had us, trying to get members. I didn't buy a membership.
Right.
But, it's way in Carstairs, which is quite north of Calgary though still.
And, to me, Steve, the thing I like on a road course is elevation changes.
Yeah.
And I think Area 27 has a fair amount of that. Race City never did. I mean, Race City was as flat as it got.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure about this new track.
It's built into the ground, and then there's a lot of turns everywhere. So there's not a lot of elevation. It's lower into it because they had a lot of problems with I think some of the neighbors around there, the ranchers, didn't want the noise and all that stuff. And
noise is always a problem with racetrack.
Exactly. Yeah. But I remember the last year I was out in Race City with Too Cool. They had their advanced course, and that track was a disaster.
Oh,
I was taking that course. I was missing potholes. There's like a broken tire in the middle of the track. Like, it was more like, it was a huge liability for anybody. Imagine you hit a big tire that blew out on your motorcycle, you're going down. Yeah. And then they had those old Urals. You remember, the troughs?
Oh yeah.
And you go to the washroom.
Yeah. Yeah.
That used to be a cool place growing up when in Calgary, the Race City and those drag races going on.
Oh, no, we were lucky to have it.
Yeah, but the city just didn't keep it up. Yeah.
No.
Was it going to turn into a shopping mall soon or something like that, or they still have the land?
I don't know, because that land out there is terrible. There's a lot of phosphate and it's kind of contaminated.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, it's
out by the Deerfoot Trail Casino. You know what that area is?
Yep.
Yeah. It's a nice area, but
I used to drag race there.
Yeah, but it's had its day of Race City. It's good the city closed it down. They clearly weren't maintaining it at all.
No. And anyway, it's behind us.
Exactly. Okay, well, thanks for showing up. I really appreciate talking. Go ahead.
Before you say that, I do want to make sure I do one thing while I'm here, and that is to say thank you to you and Grover Law for everything you do for the motorcycle community.
Oh, really?
Absolutely, okay. Steve, it's awesome. You guys do a great job. Everybody recognizes it.
Yeah.
One Broken Biker is a really good deal now. You
Yeah.
support that.
Yeah.
I know you support Alberta Motorcycle Safety Society.
Oh yeah.
You're-
Cool
you're-
motorcycle school.
Yeah, you're
you know,
doing
My
great.
money
work.
goes to all these little dealers in town,
There you go.
or in Edmonton and
Yeah.
Carstairs, and
No, you're doing great work,
Yeah.
and everybody that I know recognizes it,
yeah.
and I just want to say thank you.
Okay. Well, my parents always raised me and my three sisters. It's important to have a career, make money, but at the end of the day, you have to have a sense of community and give back to the community, and that's what really matters at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you're going to be down at the bike show.
I will the whole weekend.
So Grover Law Firm sponsoring the women's section and the adventure section this year, and we have our own booth.
You're giving away a motorcycle.
Yeah, but we're not gonna. I don't think it's a Honda, is it?
No, it's not. I don't care.
You don't care if I mention it?
No.
Yeah, so it's a 2024 Kawasaki Eliminator. They just brought out that new model, so it's competitive to the Honda Rebel 500.
So is it a twin?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
It's
Yeah.
not that 4-cylinder one that
No.
they have. Okay.
No, but I think it produces 4 more horsepower than the Rebel does.
Okay.
So it looks pretty cool. It's orange and black, so you should probably check it out.
I will.
But only women can wear wedding, okay? So you're gonna show up in a wig
No.
and high
no.
heels?
No, I'm not shaving my legs for you, Steve. Not happening.
You're not gonna wear a blonde wig? No, and put some lipstick on so you can win a free bike?
No, I'll
No?
be okay, thanks.
Okay, all right.
I'll wait for the end of the year.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for showing up.
Okay.
I
thank
appreciate you taking your time out of your busy life talking about, Revolution. Hopefully it looks like a great magazine, such a nice production. I hopefully it gets back on its feet again. Definitely we'll start reading it again when it comes back. I wish you all the best with Honda Canada. Obviously, you guys are doing something really good there. You're number one in sales. You got a good, solid product. I mean, now my mind's going to the African Twin now to buy that instead. And we'll see you down at the bike show this weekend, okay?
You sure will.
All right. And
Thanks, Steve.
thank you. So, everybody, thanks for, tuning in for the new episode of the Bulldog Brewhouse Podcast for 2024. Hopefully everyone stays safe, and hopefully we'll see you down at the bike show this weekend. Cheers. Take care.